The first Conway Bridge over the Swift River was built in 1858 and swept away by flood in 1869. The existing structure was built the same year by Jacob Berry, Jr. and Sr. The 144-foot bridge has been closed to traffic. The Bartlett Bridge was built in the mid-1800s using a paddleford design. The bridge was bypassed in 1939. Today, it houses a gift shop owned by Mrs. Isabel Casanelli of Bartlett. Mrs. Casanelli has had much of the bridge rebuilt since she bought it from the town. One of the most photographed bridges in the area, the Jackson Bridge, shows little wear since it was built as a centennial project by the town. Constructed by the Broughtons, the bridge was once part of Route 16, spanning the Ellis River at the southern entrance to the village. The Albany Bridge, just off the Kankamogus Highway at the Covered Bridge camping ground, is by far the most secluded of the area's bridges. Only a portion of the original structure exists, much of it having been rebuilt. And on the front page of this a brief article, it shows a picture of the Jackson Bridge, which of course we know is a very much photographed bridge. The picture on the next page has the Albany Bridge, and so many of us haven't seen the Albany Bridge in such a long time since the Kankamogus Highway is built. And then there is a map that shows the covered bridges in the Mount Washington Valley. It shows the Jackson Bridge, just where it is, the Bartlett Bridge on Route 302, and the third one is the West Side Bridge, and the fourth one is here at Conway, crossing the Saco River, and the fifth one is the one up in Albany, near the Kankamogus Highway, in fact, at the east entrance as you go to it. And that is all that I have on the covered bridges. There is an article in this week's Reporter on Frank Kennison, and I will be adding that to this tape. Well, I have a minute, and so I think I will read you the article about Frank Kennison. It was written by Janet Hounsell. Retiring New Hampshire Chief Justice is native son of Conway area. Frank Roe Kennison, Chief Justice of the New Hampshire Supreme Court since April 29, 1952, is retiring as required by New Hampshire statute. Chief Justice Kennison was born in Conway, the son of, on the fold as usual, of Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Edison Kennison. His father was born in Lower Bartlett, became a practicing attorney in Conway, and served as clerk of the Superior Court in Ossipee for 20 years. Early ambitions in education, it says. Chief Justice Kennison, as an 8th grade student, believed it was his destiny to become a minister. He read the Bible through in a year's time, and then he decided it wasn't my forte, F-O-R-T-E. By the time Kennison entered Brewster Academy, Wolfboro, where his father also received his high school education, he knew he would enter the field of law. He studied hard, even reading dull tomes for recreation. He attended Dartmouth and graduated from the Boston University of Law in 1932, following which he joined his father's growing law practice in Conway. He says he tried not to make a practice, and that is in quotation marks, of accepting goods such as Boone and Crockett a club-rated moosehead as payment of a legal fee, as he did on one occasion. Tennyson married Loretta Landry, daughter of Conway businessman and Mrs. Wilfred Landry, and the story of Wilfred is on this tape, as you read. They raised 2 sons and a daughter. For many years they have made their home in Concord and enjoyed periodic retreats to their cottage on Lake Chicoroa. While in practice with his father's firm, Tennyson was twice chosen to serve as county solicitor. In 1937, he became the state's only assistant attorney general, not counting 3 years during which he served in the United States Navy. He was discharged with the rank of lieutenant commander, having served in the Pacific Theater of War. Tennyson served as Attorney General from 1940 to 1946. Next came a 6-year stint as Associate Justice. Got to turn the page. Just a moment. Prior to his appointment as Chief Justice of the state's highest court. Judge Tennyson was impatient with technicalities and with outmoded formalities, which he felt served no useful purpose. He once said, "Legalistic prose, if pursued to its logical extreme, is an invention of the devil." And in rendering legal opinions, the Chief Justice feels we need a little bit of slang here and there, a little mixture of words and phrases, so that a common man knows pretty clearly what we're talking about. Talking on the subject, excuse me, talking on the subject of increased control in all avenues of life, Judge Tennyson said, "There's a great myth that a lot of people believe that you can control everything if you pass a law. Congressmen believe it, governors believe it, and many laymen believe it. Some think the answer to everything is to pass a law. He feels new laws may be partial solutions, but they don't cure all, and cites the example of prohibition as a worthy theoretical objective which was unworkable." He added, "We have laws today that are of the same category." Oh, I beg your pardon. One of Tennyson's fondest wishes is to see all courts from the lowest to the highest unified so that the left hand of one knows what the right hand of the other is doing. He sees also the need for business management for the whole judicial system to improve in efficiency. Tennyson says the sentencing process, too, is not uniform enough. He believes consultations among judges, sentencing institutes, and seminars in which jurors could exchange ideas and concepts would help bring about improved uniformity in the courts. Chief Justice Tennyson says of democracy and the court system, "It works in some cases pretty horribly. But if you're going to have a democracy, you've got to have it with its warts and blemishes." He continued in a speech on the state of the judiciary made before the Joint House and Senate. John Galsworthy once wrote, "Justice is a machine that when someone has once given it the starting push, rolls of itself. However, we recognize that, at least in part, that is not the case. For the machinery of justice is operated not by a computer in a vacuum, but by and for people living in an ever-changing, ever-challenging environment. Thus, it is necessary for the caretakers of justice to maintain and to occasionally update the machinery in order to ensure its continuing response to the needs of the people. Chief Justice Kenison, a native son of Conway, who has certainly exemplified the highest ideal of caretakers of justice, was the recipient of the 4th Annual Robert Frost Contemporary American Award, presented by Plymouth State College and its Alumni Association at a dinner on October 25th. All during his career, Chief Justice Kenison has demonstrated his interest in legal education. He has taught at Boston University School of Law and the New York University